you guys, and welcome to my channel. As you can see here, I got a bunch of candles here, which I've been doing when I started my candle business. They have just been sitting there. I was just experimenting, and now I'm just having a bunch of candles here and not knowing what to do with them. However, what you can do is you can separate them and you can remelt them and do another candle. You don't have to throw your candle testers or whatever you have been experimenting with. You can always separate it and remelt it. And that's what I'm going to do today. It's important that you kind of stick to the same colors. You want to separate the candle well. Like for example, let's do this one. We have the green leaves here. Just kind of want to take the green away. Separate it from the brown. Sometimes it's not always possible. I'm just going to twist it. There we go. Just going to grab a little knife to help me. There we go. So I'm just going to try to gently remove it from here. It's really not that hard to separate it. The wax I've used here is a pillar wax. So you want to make sure that when you do mix, when you do melt, you want to have the same wax, right? You don't want to mix a container wax with a pillar wax. And you have a perfect wick here still. You can use this one as well. You can save that one. So now we have some brown color here. There is a little bit shades of the green, but that's fine. Just gonna scrape a bit here. And yeah, we can put the brown colors over here. We can just take these little scraps of green. There we go. Some brown here. Okay, so let's do this one. You can always remove this. Fairly easy, not so hard. It's a pity to throw your wax because especially in the beginning you do experiment quite a lot, and it's a pity to start throwing these things. You can also take these decorations and reuse them, for example. Just with the brown. To be honest here, what I'll do, even if it's just white, I'll just put it right there and then with my brown wax, because it's gonna be discolored. Just gonna take that one here. Yeah, let's just break this one off, just in smaller pieces. There we go. Okay, perfect. And then we have another wick here. Let's save that one as well. So we're most probably going to need a much bigger pot than this one, as we do have a lot of brown color here. So let's just leave this for now. Let's just try to do some of the other colors. We can do the orange one here. Just gonna try to break off. Put it right there. If your candles are scented, of course you want to match them with, I'm just going to put it in here. I already got some orange wax in here. Go. Just going to take this one off. This definitely you want to separate. If you do have a bit of sprinkles, it will fall to the bottom, so you can always take it out once you melt the wax. There we go. Just scrape it just a little bit. There we go. And just loosen your wick here. And you have another wick. it's a pity to throw away wax. Just kind of give it a little bit of a shave. Perfect. Okay, so now we are ready with the orange. Let's do some yellow. And this one is fairly easy. Just put it all in there, because it's all in the yellow color. If you do melt everything together, you will end up with a brown. So you could do that as well, if you don't want to segregate them in color. There we go. Even your candles, if you have like these candles in containers and glasses, that you do like a different method, but I'm going to do a video on that too. So now we are ready with this one as well. Here we have a white one. We can separate it as well. You can also choose. They're perfectly fine to save. You could choose just to put it together with any color, really, the white parts. Got some brown going here. There we go. In this case, I am not going to keep it as a white wax. I'm going to put it into my brown wax, and because it's so discolored here, I could shave it and these things and still use it as a white wax. That wouldn't be a problem. But if you really want a nice white color, I suggest that you just melt it together with some brown wax. Okay, well, that goes over here. Could just put it in here. We're just going to do another part anyways. Can't escape that. Just do the decoration here as well. All right, let's do the other ones. Let's see if we can break it apart. This one is a little bit more tricky. There we go. Nice and easy. Slides off perfectly. Okay. Yeah, and we can just kind of just dump it in there. The only thing is this part here was a whipped wax. When you melt a whipped wax, it will have like these air bubbles. It will create air bubbles in your wax, so you kind of want to separate that as well. You don't want too much of that, so you want to clear that. Yeah, and we just keep on going like that. Just grab the next one. I got some pink pot here. Just gonna take away the brown here. A little raspberries. There we go. Just gonna scrape the top. Perfect. As you can see, you guys, it's not that difficult. It's perfectly fine to do this. You don't have to throw away your wax. This, we're just going to put it together with this here. Put the rest of this candle as well. Try not to damage the wick here, but it happens. Perfect, you guys. Whole mountain here. Like this one, for example, here I would definitely remove this Oreo. This is very black. I wouldn't put it with the brown wax. Too intense of a color. I would just kind of not put it in this pile either. I mean, you could a little bit, but still, let's just put this aside, the worst part. For the rest here, just take it off. There we go. This also goes into a pot all together. And that's how you separate your wax. So, and make new candles. Or you can make some small decorations for some other candles and so forth. Depends what you want. But in the end, it's a lot of wax and you don't want to be throwing that wax. Yeah? Okay, you guys, so we have a lot of wax here. What you can do is you can melt this wax and you can just pour it into some molds that you have and kind of just mold it neatly in different colors. I have another mold here. I can show you how I do. Here I have another mold. If I don't have too much wax, I just pour it in here and I just make like these little slabs. And I have some ready colored wax as well, so I can always remelt it. I'm only doing this with a pillar wax because it's a harder wax. The container wax is quite soft, so I don't do it in this way. But I think this is a great way of just storing your wax, which you have already colored, and it's ready. And you can do this with the same with these. Just melt them down, pour them in your molds, and perfect. Okay, you guys, so let's try to melt all of this and start pouring it into some molds. I'm going to show you how, just to show you how I do it. Okay, let's start with the orange one here. Just gonna put it over a bain-marie. I'm just going to melt it to like 72 degrees Celsius. That's approximately 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so let's just melt this and we will get back to it. Okay, you guys, so now it's melted, the orange one. So I'm just going to grab my mold here. Just gonna pour it in. So now we can start melting our pink one here, and we can fill in the other cavities with the pink one. And we're going to do the same process where I'm going to melt it to 73 degrees Celsius, 165 degrees Fahrenheit over a bain-marie. Okay, so now our pink wax has melted. So we can go ahead and we can just pour into the other cavities here. Just gonna wipe it just a little bit. We're gonna use this pot again. There we go. So we have the others here. I'm just gonna kind of set this aside. So we have a whole mountain here of the brown wax. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it a bit up because it's much easier to melt it. You want to melt it actually evenly. It's much better even for the wax, for the temperature. So I'm just gonna grab my knife here. I'm just gonna chop it into smaller pieces. Just give it a rough chop here. Like these smaller pieces, we can just add them in there straight away. No need to chop our cinnamon stick here. There we go. It's much easier to melt in this way, so it doesn't take us long. Perfect. It's a bit messy sometimes, but it's okay. Now that these two are full, let's get our big one here. Just get the last big ones. Just get it all in there. Good way of doing shavings, like chocolate shavings. There we go. All right, you guys. So now that this is done, we can also go ahead and melt this part. Going to add a bit from here over to this pot. As you go, this will lower down as you melt it, and you can always just add the next pieces to it. Okay, you guys, so let's melt this. Okay, you guys, so now it's melted, the wax. So I'm just going to remove my chopping board here. Let's get another mold. Just gonna remove this mold and leave them to set. There we go. All right, so let's just leave this to set now as well. We still have a lot of wax here. Just going to scoop it all out, as this pot is much bigger than the other ones. go. We have a lot more wax there, as you can see, which we can chop up. So I'm just going to add some more here. Okay, there we go. And I have the other batch melted here. So now I'm just going to grab another mold. This mold is really nice because you have a hole here in the middle, right? So it's much easier to melt wax afterwards. So this is one of my favorite ones just to pour some wax into. Okay, perfect. So let's just leave this to set now. I'm not going to start chopping all of these now on the camera. You guys have already seen me do it. So I'm just gonna leave those. Let's just melt these nice yellow color ones here. Okay, and then we're just gonna pour them into some molds, and then we can demold our molds afterwards. Okay, guys, so as you can see, I moved my molds a bit so we can make room for the next one. So I'm going to do it in these little smaller ones here. They are very easy to melt. Okay, you guys, so everything has set quite well now. I am just going to move it here a bit, as we have quite many. I have a massive tray here on the side. Just going to put the wax over here into our tray here. It's a stackable tray, so I have another one on top so you can cover it. Really nice and practical. As you can see, all nicely shaped. There we go. Let's do the next ones. And there you go, you guys. We got all our wax here. I think this is the easiest way just to store them. If you want to pre-color your wax, for example, then you have your colors here, and yeah, you can put them in any mold that you want. Just cover it so no dust will come in, and there you go. I wouldn't recommend pre-scenting, as the minute you start heating your wax, your scent is evaporating. So hot coloring, that you can definitely do. And this is how I can reuse my wax, and this is what I do when I have something that I can't really use, or I want to break down, or a candle failed for me. This is another way of doing it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you like what I do, and hit the notification button so you will be notified next time that I do a video. And yeah, and thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.